Minecraft is an amazing game that lets us freely express ourselves through building. Over the last 16 years, players have learned how to create some truly incredible builds. However, for many less experienced builders, we often rely on designs made by others. And while many of those designs are great, they can sometimes be overcomplicated or simply not fit the theme of our build. One of the most common places this happens is with lighting. Now, I'm currently working on a massive project, one I hope you guys will learn about soon. And while working on it, I tried searching for unique lighting designs that I could use. And yeah, they weren't exactly what I was looking for. So instead of spending hours scouring the internet, hoping to find something that might work, I tried a different approach. Designing my own lighting from scratch to perfectly match my build. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to just show you how to take your lighting designs from this to this. The first and most important part of any build is choosing your theme. Just like you wouldn't expect to see smartphones in medieval times, you wouldn't find big electrical streetlights in a build of ancient Rome. Make sure you know what you're trying to create, and then think carefully what fits naturally within that world. Let's say I want to build something inspired by Chinese architecture. Since I've chosen that style, I can start by Googling images of Chinese architectural design. While I'm looking, I can look at the different colors, the different patterns, and different general themes that they use in their architecture. Then, once I'm ready, I can move over to search something more specific, like Chinese light post. And then you can just browse around until you find one that inspires you. Once you've found a design that you like, keep that reference off to the side. We're going to make sure to use that. As previously mentioned, while looking for inspiration, a few things should happen. You should get a sense of the shapes commonly used in that style, and you'll notice some of the typical colors used in that theme. So, for this Chinese themed build, the most common colors would usually be something like red, gold, a bluish green, and white. So, when designing your light, try to stay within that general palette. Once you have your reference image and your color palette, you're ready to bring everything together. One important thing to mind is that having diagonal elements is totally fine. Sometimes people are scared of it because it might be a little harder for them, but it definitely helps to improve the design if you can use it. Just look at this Victorian bowl lamp. Even though it's diagonal, it looks way better than if I tried to make it just straight, because everything would get clumped together. Now with that in mind, let's go back to the reference. I can only clearly see the top, but the rest, it's probably just a straight pole with maybe a little thicker base. So, let's just start from the bottom. I'll choose something slightly wider than the pole material. If my pole uses walls, I might use a decorated pot as a base. If I use fences, I might use wall block instead. What's important is avoiding pieces that stick out too far because that can make your build feel kinda clunky. So moving up the pole, there's a small section that sticks out, so I'll attach something thin. Trapdoors work perfectly. But since the trapdoor doesn't actually touch the fence, and we want to avoid floating or disconnected blocks, I'll replace the fence there with a full block of the same material as the post. Finally, for the light itself, my reference shows side arms going perpendicular to the main arm, so I'll try and replicate that. And I want a toggleable lighting, so I'll use redstone lamps and keep them separate for extra detail. And of course, I'll match the reference shape, making the center lamp slightly higher than the other two. While we have the basic shape built, and it's unique, it's still not quite there yet. Now this is where the real magic happens. Since I want the lights to be toggleable at night, I'll place daylight sensors on top of each lamp. I also want to cover the exposed sides using trapdoors for extra shape. I'll change the bottom of the post from a red nether brick wall to a mangrove fence, and use dark oak trapdoors to cover the underside of the lamps. Now, let's just try and test it at night. And it's a good thing I did, because the trapdoor is flipped up. That's because they're getting moved by the daylight sensor. To fix that, I can use blocks that aren't affected by redstone. So I'll switch to shelves of the same color. For consistency, I'll outline all the lights with shelves. I'll also add signs to the other arms for extra shape. Now, testing again, it works perfectly. And it looks great. I would say it's a perfect addition to a new Chinese style build. The great thing about this process is that it's fully repeatable. Now, I wanted to make a floating lantern in the same Chinese style. I of course already had the color palette, so what I did is I just looked at some of the extra patterns that you find on these kinds of lamps. And it's of course going to be smaller, so I made some extra decorated banners to add specific details. Honestly, I'm so happy with the new designs I just made for this, and it's going to help you guys to become great build. Hey, I'm over here. What are you looking at? Listen, I said I was going to teach you how to design nice lighting, not how to build good buildings. One miracle at a time, please. These techniques can be applied to any build theme, not just the example I made here. There are so many designs waiting to be created. Mixing blocks you wouldn't expect, using light blocks to make things like glass glow, or hiding light sources entirely. As you grow in your building experience, remember you can be more than just a builder. You can be an innovator. Thanks for watching.